Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be taking some double albums and then sort of like condensing them down to single albums. Now this is something that has been done before like in like the vinyl community like quite a bit. I believe it first stemmed from Rockboy680 a couple of years back, or maybe about like a year ago, where like he did like a video like on like this topic. Now the guy like actually done like a response like shortly after that, where like I think like I done well like the albums what like I included in that were the Beatles' White Album, All Things Must Pass by George Harrison, Pink Floyd's The Wall, Out of the Blue by ELO, and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John were the ones that I done like back then. But recently Ben Simpson has like revived this thing, like he's done like I think like 3 videos like on like this topic, so I thought like I'd like batter in, choose like some more double albums to like condense down to single albums. So I've got 6 here. Like I think I'm gonna split this up like into 2 parts. So here's the pile of albums here. Yeah, that's it for the video. So the ones I'm going to do in this first part video will be Tommy by The Who, I'll just put that there for now, The Clash, London Calling, Layla by Derek and the Dominos. So those will be like in this part 1, and then part 2 I will look at The Who's Quadrophenia, a recent album from Paul Weller, what is a double album, 22 Dreams. And to finish off, we'll do Tusk by Fleetwood Mac. So yeah, we'll just get right into it with Tommy here. So there are 24 tracks on this album, although like they're all not like proper songs. Like, they're all like a lot of like wee like doodly songs here, a lot of like wee like say like songs like under like a minute on this album. Right, but anyway, like, it is like 24 tracks though, like nonetheless, so like 12 songs will be staying on my single album version of this. And like also like another thing with this is like a rock opera, like if you will, like it tells a story. So like yeah, like they're all like a lot of like these wee like shorter tracks what like don't do much like by themselves, but like you sort of like need them for like the whole story like of the album. But I won't really be taking that like into like account much for this. Like I'll just be choosing out the songs that I think are like personally like the best like on this album. Yeah, it starts off with Overture, which I am unfortunately getting rid of. Like it is like a really good like instrumental, but like unfortunately for me like it doesn't quite make the cut. Next one is It's a Boy, which is a very important song for the album, but for me like doesn't make my like single album version of Tommy. The 1921 is like a great song, I think. Only about like 3 minutes long, but like it's really great song, great like melody on it. Yeah, so like that would be staying on my album. I'm also keeping Amazing Journey, one of like the more popular ones from Tommy, and like also Sparks as well, like is staying on my album. Like it is like an instrumental, but like it does have like the elements of like Overture in it, and yeah, like it's like quite like a 10-second instrumental, so I like really like that one. Closing side 1 is The Hawker, which I am getting rid of. Like I'm not too much a fan of that track like overall. Christmas though is staying, really like that one, as is Cousin Kevin. A little bit, well, not disturbing, well sadly disturbing lyrics, but like I really like it though. Like it is like a bit of like a light-hearted song I guess. John Entwistle on number, so yeah, one of his better songs. Also staying on my album is The Acid Queen, really like that one, sung by Pete Townsend. And then closing side 2 on like the original album, Underture, unfortunately is going. It is a very long like instrumental song, 10 minutes. It is like a good like riff. It is like very memorable, but it just goes on for like far too long, I feel. The third side of the album now starts with Do You Think It's Alright, a 30-second track, don't need it like on like my single album. Same sort of thing like Fiddle About, like again like it's only about like a minute long, but like it is like a little bit, it is for me one like the weaker ones like on like the actual album, although it is like important to the story. Rainbow Wizard of course is staying, the single from the album, most popular song, classic track. There's a Doctor, again another small short track is like going from my album, but I'm keeping Go to the Mirror, which I really like. Really think that I really think that is like an underappreciated song from the album. Can you hear me? Like a shorter song again, like just like a bit of fun. Like I really like this one actually, so it is yeah, like I'm keeping it. Smash the Mirror, unfortunately, like, is going, but I am keeping Sensation, which I do quite like. A nice sort of thing. Again, I think Pete Townsend sings that one. Yeah, like, I really like that one, Sensation. Yes, now Miracle Cure, yeah, like a pointless song really, like it works like within like the contents like of the album, but for me like it's 12 seconds, you don't need it. It would just be like a waste of like a song like if I was to keep this one like on here. I'm also getting rid of Sally Simpson. Like I do quite like this one. Like it's like a little bit long. It's about 4 minutes. Doesn't really need to be that long for me. But like this was like a close one. This one nearly made it, but like unfortunately like, it wasn't quite there. I'm Free, another popular one from the album, which I am keeping, and unfortunately, like I'm getting rid of Welcome, the next song. Don't think too much of that one. Like again, like it is like a little bit long, not really for me. Second to last song now, Tommy's Holiday Camp, a song credited to Keith Moon, which I am unfortunately getting rid of. I don't really think that like you need this one like on the album, but I am keeping the closer. We're not going to take it. Like it is 7 minutes, and it does like include like the See Me Feel Me and Listening to You bit. What I was like issued like as a single. So yeah, a fantastic way to end like the album. So I am keeping that on my version of Tommy. How's that album done? We are now moving on to London Calling by The Clash. So like recently, like, well I say recently, again, like last couple of months, like I bought this album, so it's not one that I've known for like a long time. So I got to like listen to this like a good like couple of times to really like get to know the songs and like decide what ones I like. So this is probably like subject to change. Right, but anyway, as of now, here is like what I would be keeping and like getting rid of like on the album. So the opening song, London Calling, I am getting rid of. No, I'm kidding. No, that one is staying, of course. Classic song, everyone knows it. Fantastic track. Next up is Brand New Cadillac. Like I was a little bit like on like the fence with this one, but like it is like a cover song. Like they didn't write it like themselves, and like it kind of like pales in like comparison to like some of like the other stuff like later on, like like in the album. So unfortunately, like I would be getting rid of that one. Third track in is Jimmy Jazz, which a lot of people do seem to like, but for some reason, like I just like can't get into this song. So yeah, like that one is like like I'm like chucking that song off my album. Hateful again is like another one that I am like chucking off. Like there seems to be like a lot of like songs like on like this first side what I am like getting rid of. But like I like this song, and like this was like one of the ones that I was like, a little bit like on like the fence with, but unfortunately it didn't quite make the cut for me. I am keeping though Rudy Can't Fail, which is sort of like they're going in like more like reggae direction. Like that's what like I really like love about this album. Like there are like a lot of different genres like explored throughout this album, and like this is like one like the songs that like it is like very different like for like the Clash. So like yeah, like I would be keeping Rudy Can't Fail. Opening up side 2 of the original album is Spanish Bombs, which I am keeping. Very catchy song, really fantastic. Next one is The Right Profile, which is like a really nice sort of like brass bit, but like for me like just didn't make like the cut. It's like a very close one. Like if I'm gonna do like honourable mentions like Ben Simpson did, this one would definitely get one. But unfortunately for me, like I've only got like 10 songs to keep like on this album, so that one unfortunately doesn't make the cut. Next one is probably one of my favourites on the album, Lost in the Supermarket. Fantastic lyrics, fantastic sort of mood to the song, quite quiet, quite mellow like for like the Clash, but like really top-notch lyrics, top-notch melody as well. So yeah, that one is definitely staying for me. Another great song, Clampdown, is like also staying like on like my single album. Really like that one a lot. And now closing side 2 is the Guns of Brixton, which unfortunately I am getting rid of. Like I know Ben Simpson like also like got rid of this one as well. Again, it's like a fairly popular one like on the album, but for me like, it doesn't do too much for me. So now we're on to side 3 of the original double album with a track Rongem Boyo. And yeah, like unfortunately for me, this one like is like going like as well. I believe just going from like the title, I think this was like a more like sort of reggae one, but for me like it wasn't like one of like, my personal favourites. Death or Glory though, I really liked, and very much in like the sort of like the usual sort of punky style, which like I really like enjoyed that one. So yeah, that one is staying. Next one, Coca-Cola. Is like also going like as well, like again not one of my personal favourites. The Card Cheat is also staying, a slightly slower one. I think this has like a bit of like piano like going on like in it as well. Really like this one, very different, very unique for the album. So that's why like I would be keeping The Card Cheat. Opening to side 4 is a song called Lovers Rock, which I am also keeping. Like I do quite like this one. Like actually, like again, like I think this was a more sort of like was it reggae? I can't quite remember. Like I have only heard this about sort of like I think about 3 times. So and there's like a lot of tracks in it, so it is a little bit difficult to remember them off like the top of like your head. But this one I did enjoy enough to put it onto my single album. Four Horsemen is unfortunately out. I'm not including that one, but it was a close one though. Like this was like again like one of the ones that I was sort of like on like the fence with. Next one, I'm Not Down, is actually staying on my single album. Really like this one. One of like more like underrated ones like on the album for me. Like definitely like a really good song. So I could check that one out. Like if you're not familiar with it. And now sort of like the last actual like credited song on the album is Revolution Rock, which unfortunately is going. I'm not a massive fan of this track. It does go on quite a little bit. Like it is definitely like the longest song on the album. Not my personal favourite. So now sort of like the actual closer to the album, although it isn't actually listed like on like on like the back. Like the last song like was meant to be like Revolution Rock. And like they had like this one like Train in Vain like planned like as like a single, or I think it was like a giveaway single with like the NME, but like that deal like didn't like happen, so like they just tacked it on like the end of the album, and like I'm very glad that they did, because it is probably my favourite song like on the album. Very happy, really great song. I believe this one is sung by Mick Jones, so yeah, no surprise that one is like actually staying on my single album. So now final one for this part of the video is Layla by Derek and the Dominos, aka Eric Clapton. So yeah, and there are 14 tracks on there, so only 14, but they're all like a lot of like longer songs. Like there's a couple of, I think like one goes on for about 10 minutes almost, and then there's a lot of like sort of six minutes, sort of like a lot of like blues sort of jams like on it. So not my personal favourite style, but there are some really classic songs on this album. So it starts off with I Looked Away, which I am keeping. I really like this one. A lot of people, like I've heard, like I think it was like Rockboy660, because he's a massive fan like of this album, sort of comparing this to like George Harrison's All Things Must Pass, because these were like I believe recorded during like the same sort of sessions and that, and like sort of like with like a sort of like a similar sort of like music like lineup. Like I think like a couple, just looking at like credits, I think was it Jim Gordon might have been like on like all Things Must Pass. I could pull that wrong there, but anyway, these were recorded like about like the same sort of time, and this one is like quite similar to like I'd Have You Anytime from like All Things Must Pass. Like I really like it. Is like a nice sort of very soft way to start the album, so that one is staying. Classic song Bell Bottom Blues follows that, which is of course staying on my album. Really like that one. Another great one, Keep On Growing, is like also staying. So 3 great songs like right off like the bat. So yeah, this album definitely starts really well. And then goes down like a little bit for like Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out, which isn't one of my favourites, and like it is unfortunately leaving my album. That's now opening up side 2 on like the actual album is a song called I Am Yours, which from what I like remember, like again, like this isn't like an album what like I've known for like a very long time. Like I've only played it sort of about like I think like 3 or 4 times. This one was more like a sort of soft like acoustic song. Like I probably got that like way off. But unfortunately it is leaving, although this was like I made like a list of like all like the songs I got here, and then like just took like the favourite ones up from that list, kept them, and but this one just missed out. This was like the 8th favourite like one like on the album, so yeah, this one literally just missed out. Next one though, Any Day, I really like actually, would be staying on my album. And then the closer to side 2 is a cover of the song Key to the Highway, which unfortunately is leaving my album, it being like a cover song. Like I know like Eric Clapton does like to do like a lot of like cover songs, but unfortunately this one like is going, and like it is also 9 minutes as well. It kind of drags on like a bit. Like I know it is like a lot of people do like sort of blues jams and that, but for me it isn't really my thing, so this one unfortunately would be going. Next one is Tell the Truth, which unfortunately is leaving my album. I like the song. Like again, like this was like a close one. But unfortunately for me, like it did like have to go. Something had to go. So this, so yeah, this was like the one that like I decided to take off. And now one of my personal favourites from the album, Why Does Love Got to Be So Sad? I love that song, and like yeah, so that's definitely staying on my album. And then sort of the closer to side 3 is Have You Ever Loved a Woman, which unfortunately for me like is going like again like another cover song, like as far as I'm like aware, like certainly going by like the credits and that. Like it wasn't written by like any of like the band members, so yeah, unfortunately this one like would be leaving my album. Though the original side 4 opens up with a cover of Jimi Hendrix's Little Wing, which I am actually keeping. I like not familiar with like the original, but like Derek and like the Dominos do a great version of it. Really like it. So yeah, that one like would actually be staying on my album. Next one is It's Too Late, which again, like unfortunately, like I'm like getting rid of. Like can't really like remember this one too much. Wasn't really too memorable. So yeah, that's probably why like I'm getting rid of it. But then the title song Layla, fantastic song, has to stay. Really great. And then we close with the song Thorn Tree in the Garden, which is very different, very sort of slow like acoustic one. Like it is like a nice end. But this would be like another like honourable mention for me. Didn't quite make it, because with this one, like I could only choose 7 songs. So like if like I could choose 8, this one would definitely be there. But unfortunately, it's 14 tracks. Had to half it, so it's 7 songs. So yeah, pretty short album. Like if like you were to like condense this down like any further. But yeah, that is my single album version of Layla. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this part of the video, and hopefully probably like either like the day like I upload this, or like the day after, like I will put up like my second part where like I'll do 3 more classic double albums, condensing them down to single albums. So I hope you can join me for that, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.